Hi, T. Carlson here. I decided it was time to go back and review some movies that I have in my collection I never got around to before, and that includes a lot of releases from DC Comics. So today, we're going back in time to 2016, and we're looking at Suicide Squad. I'm going to unbox this 4K release and share my opinions. There's our cover art with our heroes, or villains turned heroes, anti-heroes, whatever you want to call them. Spine text. Back cover. Inside the case, we get the theatrical cut of the film on 4K Ultra High Def, and we get the extended cuts on Blu-ray, as well as the bulk of the bonus features. It feels good to be bad. A team of the world's most dangerous incarcerated supervillains with the most powerful arsenal at the government's disposal is sent off on a mission to defeat an enigmatic, invincible entity. The trailers had everyone hyped up for Suicide Squad, but when it came out, the movie got a very mixed reception from the public and from critics. The trailers, honestly, were better than the film. That seems to be the consensus. And I have to say, even though there are some good moments here, Suicide Squad is unfortunately a bit of a mess. The plot revolves around Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis, who recruits some of the most dangerous assassins in the world to go on a mission to take down the Enchantress, an entity that was once under their control but has now gone rogue. The heroes include Harley Quinn, the Joker's girlfriend, portrayed here in live action by Margot Robbie, who absolutely steals the role. And then you have Deadshot, the skilled marksman, portrayed by Will Smith, who wants to get back in touch with his estranged daughter following a divorce. Heroes, or rather villains turned heroes, thrown into the fray, having to do what's necessary to fight to survive so that they can win over their freedom. But at the end of the day, do you think Amanda Waller is going to keep her word, or just use these guys as pawns that can be thrown away as needed once the dirty work is done? The movie's narrative structure, unfortunately, is a bit of a mess. I mean, even right when the movie starts, we get all these introduction vignettes to the characters, so the plot stops dead in its tracks. A lot of this is stuff that we could have easily solved with some script exposition. We didn't need like lengthy flashbacks. And on top of that, a lot of the characters get more than one introduction, often haphazardly thrown in the middle of the movie. At one point, the movie stops dead in its tracks so we can get a Harley Quinn origin scene that looks like something out of a bad rap video. And a lot of the characters on the team basically don't really do anything or get any development at all. I mean, Captain Boomerang, I thought, had a lot of potential. He has some great, funny, witty quips, but it's not long before he's just cast to the side. At one point, we get another character who's introduced, and then just a few scenes later, he's killed with no development whatsoever. So you can see that this movie is kind of a mess. The villain isn't really all that compelling, and it feels like the plot is just being written as the movie moves along, almost as if they were filming scenes before the script was done. I don't know if that was actually the case, but it certainly feels that way. And sadly, Jared Leto just doesn't really make an impression as the Joker. His take on Mr. J is more or less a generic crime boss that looks like the Joker. I have no doubt that if Leto had been able to play this role longer, he would have been able to do more with it, but as is, we don't really get much there, and that's sad. Suicide Squad, unfortunately, just never quite hits the mark. There are going to be individual scenes that you'll absolutely love here, but as a coherent whole, well, it's not a coherent whole, let me put it that way. Suicide Squad's 4K transfer, honestly, is nothing worth writing home about. It more or less looks like an upscaled Blu-ray. The movie's always had kind of a dull, murky look about it. The cinematography has never been anything fancy, and sadly that's reflected on here. It is a 2K upscale, which also does somewhat work against it, but I have to say, any benefit you'd get from a 4K presentation here isn't a whole lot more substantial than what you'd get from an upscaled Blu-ray. So again, it doesn't look horrible, but there's not really anything worth praising either. We do get several bonus features on the Blu-ray disc, although as with most of these DC 4K releases, they're pretty much the standard EPK type stuff. Fans might want to watch these things at least once, but beyond that, I don't know if they're the kinds of things you're really going to want to sit through on multiple occasions. So I have to give Suicide Squad a try before you buy rating. The film is not great, even though I have to say the performances from Will Smith and Margot Robbie are pretty good. Robbie at least would be put to use in some other films and do a pretty solid job. So again, I can marginally recommend this for fans, but watch it before you buy it if you haven't seen it yet. How about you? Were you a fan of this cinematic take on Suicide Squad? Comment down below and know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.